Hi everyone, I'm Cassandra Duffer. Welcome back to my channel for the September energetic update. So today we are covering topics that are coming through for the collective for the month of September. But more than that, they're also giving me information that is going to bridge the next 6, even 12 months. There's a little bit of time in this. So what is starting now is a process that is going to continue. Now, it's going to be a really exciting time. There's a lot shifting and a lot happening. For those that are new to my channel, thank you for joining me. I'm Cassandra Duffel. I am a spiritual teacher. I'm an intuitive mentor. I'm a medical medium and a psychic medium. I'm also a naturopath and a medical intuitive. So I wear a number of different hats. I am hoping to bring to light on this channel some information for the collective. I'm here to start discussions. I'm no guru. I'm no expert. I'm here to start discussions and to share information that I'm getting in the hope that it helps you on your journey. So that's what we're about today. I have lots of notes. There's been an awful lot of stuff coming through for this month's energetic update. We are going to break this probably into 3 parts. We'll see how we go. There is a general advice for the collective and some general themes that are coming through. Then we have some information that's come through from the galactic realms. We've got some information that's come through from the angelic realms. So we've got those 3 areas we need to look at. And we've also been given what they've just called the Healing Merkabah. So the Healing Merkabah. And hence I grabbed a couple of crystals. I've got this beautiful Merkabah here today to help us. Okay, we've got the beautiful Merkabah and we've got the pink agate dragon. Absolutely love the energy that comes from the pink agate dragon. So crystals can be great things to help us connect, and you'll see me use those throughout today's session. So let's talk about the energy update for September 2025. The first few things I want me to mention, and then we'll dive into them, is it's about taking in the new. Taking in the new. There's a lot of new information. There's new templates. There's new downloads. There's new healing. There's new frequencies coming in for us right now, and they want us to lap that all in. It might have a period of change. You might have some issues, some symptoms. The path to change is never smooth, is it? There's always things. There's always bumps in the road, I suppose. So we're going to be talking about that. There is an increase in what they've called increase in awakening or increase in new awakening. What they mean by that is there's more and more people in this realm. The words I'm hearing in my head right now are coming online, but it's probably not the best way to describe it. More and more people are awakening to the fact that what we thought was reality, what we thought was existence, how we thought the world worked is quite different. We're seeing things from lots of different perspectives. And a lot of people are also opening their eyes to their soul mission. And that's a lot of the work that I do, helping people align with their soul mission. And also their gifts as well, what they're put here to do. What is that purpose? And there's a number of people coming my way who are having that experience. That's happening for everybody. That's just not a few. Those that are supposed to wake up on this journey, on this particular soul contract journey, they will. They will wake up. They will see the truth. They will find this month is when they start to really find their soul gifts and things start to open up. And it's interesting. I've seen the same thing come through some of my clients this month already. We're only on it's the 2nd of September when I'm filming this. So in that last week of August, I had a number of my clients sharing with me that they were feeling that. They felt the stirring and they felt they couldn't ignore it anymore. They needed to start doing some things in different areas, bringing forward different parts of themselves. I think for the longest time, what I do here, just to explain, is spiritual, it's business related, it's personal related. We're talking about everything. And I think for many people, we've felt disjointed for a long time. The way that we've worked in our business lives may not have been embodying every part of who we are. And we've always felt that can leave you feeling a little bit like a fraud, a little bit like you're not being completely authentic. People at the moment are trying to bring all those pieces together, this piece of me, this creative piece, this spiritual piece, this strategic piece, and put it all together in a way that makes sense so they can show up and go, this is me. In totality, this is who I am. So that's happening a lot. They want me to talk about the Ring of Fire, and I know you've probably heard many other people talk about this. Now, I want to go back a few years. I want to go back to 2020. I want to go back to 2020 where there was some notes here in my book that they gave me. I'm going to be upfront. Back in 2020, I didn't know what the Ring of Fire was. I didn't take the time to Google it, didn't think anything of it, to be really honest. I was getting a lot of information that year. It started with a song. And that often happens, song running around in my head that I didn't put there, okay, that I didn't hear, that just sort of dropped in. And often I wake up with that song. The song that was in my mind on repeat was a song, and I think it was sung by Johnny Cash. Was it The Ring of Fire? Um, what are the lyrics for that? I wonder. But what I kept having in my head was, so I just Googled it. Yes, it was Johnny Cash. So what I kept having in my head was "Let It Burn, 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 the Ring of Fire, the Ring of Fire." So that was just playing around in my head. I am not a Johnny Cash fan. I don't know his music, and I don't actually think he was the original artist of that song anyway. But this was in my head. What I was also shown was, and this is not to say this is going to happen, it's not, a lot that we're given and the way that we're given it is in a certain way. We have to read into it. We need to interpret it. But what I was shown was literally the island of New Zealand. So I'm in Australia. I was shown the island of New Zealand next to us, literally ripping down the center, cracking down the center with, lava and heat and fire. And so I was getting the song, I was getting that visual, and I was also getting a reminder that everyone on this planet has a soul contract, that it's not my job to save everybody. Okay, it's no one's job to save everybody. We all have a soul contract, and it might be somebody's soul contract to leave this lifetime in a tsunami. It might be this person's soul contract to leave this lifetime on the back of taking, mandated things, and that made them sick. So there's lots of different soul contracts at play right now, and it's not for us to judge them. It's not for us to have an opinion about them. It's for us to support the people around us and to understand that some people have a soul contract where they're not going to be here for the long term. They showed me that there is going to be more destruction because Mother Earth Gaia is moving. The energy is moving. The energy is changing. If any of you follow the Schumann resonance, like I do, there's actually an app you can get on your phone. The Schumann resonance is actually the frequency of the planet, the heartbeat, if you will, of the planet. And for the longest time, the usual hertz, I think it's like 7.5 hertz is where it normally sits, something around that. What we can see is that has changed. And I'm just going to pull up a picture to show you. That has changed. And what's interesting is I've noticed over the last number of years that every time we have these solar flares happening, within sort of 12 to 24 hours, the Schumann resonance has a spike. These are spikes that I was told are angelic energy downloads. That's what they've been calling them when I see them. And I'm just going to show you on the app that I have. You can see here, this is how it looks. I'll try and get a better picture there for you. Sorry about the reflection. This is how it looks. So this is sort of normal Schumann resonance, and this is extremely high frequency white. They have been telling me ever since this started, that I started to notice it about 4 years ago, that this was actually angelic frequencies, new codes, new frequencies coming in. So that's what it's been looking like. This is in the past 24 hours. So if you've been experiencing headaches, migraines, dizziness, if fatigue that doesn't contribute to anything, it's not like you're sick or you've got the flu, but you just feel really fatigued. Visual disturbances are really common. And like I said, the dizziness, the vertigo, headaches, things like that can be really common as well, because our bodies are affected by the frequency of the planet. So back to the Ring of Fire. What they were telling me was that the Ring of Fire needed to shake. And at this time in 2020, I didn't know what that was, Ring of Fire. They just kept saying it needs to shake. And they were showing me this sort of thing, that like the planet shaking. They're also showing me the analogy of a Coke bottle, soft drink bottle, shake, 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 and all the bubbles rise to the top. It's only been in the last 12 months that I have realized through research and Googling what the Ring of Fire actually is. And it is that edge of the tectonic plates where we do have a lot of volcanic activity. And if you have a look at that Ring of Fire, it actually does go straight through the middle of New Zealand. So again, I'm not saying there's going to be something horrible happening in New Zealand, but what I do feel is there's a huge energy shift coming for New Zealand. And I think that's what that's indicating. Will there be some weather-related anomalies and things? Possibly. Absolutely. I think there could be things happening there, and we'll come to that. But there is this real shift happening, okay? This Ring of Fire, they're just saying shaking the Ring of Fire, shaking the Ring of Fire. So be prepared for that. Again, do we need to be scared? Do we need to be in fear? Absolutely no. We need to hold that higher frequency, and we need to stand ourselves in a stead that is, strong, accepting, ready for what comes. I will remind you of the Russian earthquake that happened recently. And what was that, an 8.8? And let's not forget, there was an 8.8 that happened on the 8th of the 8th in the middle of Lionsgate. That was it the biggest recorded earthquake on the planet or one of the biggest? Yet the loss of life was negligible. Here in Australia, I know that we're getting very censored news and media, so we may not get everything. We were not getting any reports of loss of life from that earthquake. I apologize if that's wrong, but that's what we were getting here. What I am getting energetically is that we can expect more of that. Shake-ups and things to happen, but for the most part and as much as possible, it's going to be done in a way that is preserving life, preserving people, unless, of course, you have a soul contract where you are supposed to be in that place and time. Just like those of us who lived through Atlantis and perished in Atlantis, we had a soul contract to be there. So those things, those contracts are here. The contracts are contracts. There is an energetic jump. So at the moment we are going through, yes, we're ascending, we absolutely are, and we'll talk about that as we move through, but we're going through this energetic jump. It's like it's like the stairs have gotten bigger. We've gone from taking little steps to taking bigger steps, and we're going bigger, higher, higher. And that's a good thing. We're moving forward. Part of this, though, makes it feel like we're in a bit of a time warp, doesn't it? Feels like everything's speeding up. Do you feel like that? Days are going really quickly. Time just seems to be disappearing. That's not a figment of our imagination by any means. It's a side effect of what's happening energetically and what's happening with the frequencies. Time is effectively speeding up as we're moving into higher frequencies. Now, what they've said here, the end of this year, moving from September onwards, is going to be very fast paced. So be ready for it to feel like they're literally saying you're going to feel like, oh, it's September and now it's Christmas. Boom, boom. Where did those months go? All of a sudden it's Christmas. And I know this year, how many people have been saying that, oh my gosh, it's May already. Oh my gosh, it's August. The year has just come in leaps and bounds, hasn't it? From a business point of view, September, the energy of September, it is the correct time, the right time to bring to fruition those things that you have kept hidden. That's what they're saying, the things that you've kept hidden, those parts of yourself that you haven't wanted to fully embody, those parts of yourself you've been afraid to share, those things that mean a lot to you and would make you feel whole. It's time to bring those forward now. Bring those things to fruition, make those changes. By the same token, if you've had a situation this year where things have seemed a bit sticky, things might not have been working the way you wanted, or you're coming up against roadblocks, they're moving now. They're opening. They're literally showing me the gates are opening, things are flowing. So some of those things that have been sticky and difficult are going to start to happen with ease now, which is great. Where things are finally moving forward. Yeah. Upgrade to the energetic body. Okay, so remembering that we are a spiritual being on a physical experience. So who we are really is what's inside here, the spirit. And I always say this is just the meat suit that we chose for this journey, just the meat suit. So there's upgrades coming to the physical body. We are getting new templates coming in, new downloads coming in, and the way our bodies are healing, responding, growing is changing. This is why you're seeing so many more people coming forward going, I've realized I've got these spiritual gifts, I've got psychic abilities, I can do this, I can do that. Because they're saying part of the human experience and what it's supposed to be is having abilities such as telepathy. So that can be the start of people's psychic awakening and psychic abilities, developing that telepathy. The other thing they've been saying, and I always found this really funny, they've been telling me this since I was probably 20, so the last 20 years, that the average human lifespan is supposed to be a lot longer than what we get. They've been saying 400 years. The lifespan of a human is supposed to be 400 years. But things have happened. DNA has been mutated. It's been adjusted in such ways that that didn't happen for us. So we are going to start to be able to experience, our lifetimes are going to start to lengthen a bit more. And I think we do see that, haven't we had people that are now living into their hundreds, and that's a lot more frequent than it used to be. So we're going to see this happen over the next, generations and moving forward, which is a really interesting point. They want me to remind you right now to move forward with positivity, without fear, with grace, with purpose. Because as I said in my last video, for those that didn't watch it, a lot of our systems and pretty much all of our systems are broken. They're no longer serving us, political in particular. These systems need to be broken in order to be remade. They cannot be changed while they're still in this state. They can't be remade till they've been broken. So don't have, they're saying don't despair, don't look at it with fear. These things are falling away so the new can happen. It's actually a really exciting time. So you will see more of that, and more of that's going to become very forefront in our world. So keep a watch out for that. We need to break it to remake it. Water and weather. Water and weather is something they've been sharing with me a lot. Water and weather events are going to continue. I'm actually hearing things like climate lockdowns they're going to be trying. The powers that used to be are going to ramp up their agenda at the back end of this year and into next year as well. So we need to be prepared for that, to stand strong like we did last time, and to say no. That's not where we're going. But there will be water and weather effects. Now, whether that is from natural occurring changes, and some of it is some of it also from weather manipulation, because we know that's happening in areas around our world as well. Yes, some of it will be that as well. One of the big keys for this energy update is the word discernment. And that's been coming through so strongly. And they're saying with this weather and water situation, we need to use discernment, because we can't paint everything with the same brush. It's not that everything that happens in our world, weather related and water related, is going to be natural, and not everything is going to be manipulated. It's a bit of everything. And this is coming through this month. There is a bit of everything. So using our discernment to be able to say, right, is that, what do I believe that is? What do I believe that is? Now, they're saying there is a purpose. There is a purpose in what we're going to be experiencing in these water and weather events. The purpose is to awaken people, to motivate them towards action, and to stimulate change. As a naturopath and someone who's been in that health-related world for quite a while, the one thing I can say is people are only motivated to change when they're uncomfortable. They might want to change, but it's only when our discomfort becomes so much that we don't want to deal with that anymore and we want something else. Human beings put up with a lot before they decide to make a change. So these things are happening. The water and the weather events are happening to stimulate us to make a change, to make us uncomfortable, to stand up and do something. Now, agendas. They want us to think about the agendas and just be aware that agendas are going to be pushing forward. They've literally said agendas pushing forward, but there will be a greater pushback from the collective. This isn't going to be just September. This is going to flow into the next 6 months and into next year. There are some great benefits coming for us, though, this September. We can expect, as well as people waking up and walking into their gifts and opening up to their gifts. specifically said light language, light codes, and new templates. And it's for us to accept those things and integrate it. Not so much questioning. They're saying, sometimes we got so much distrust and we question these things. And it's great. We want to have that discernment. We want to be sure. And we can ask for surety. If we are given something, we can ask for confirmation. Who am I talking to? Who gave me this? Where does this come from? In my own life lately, I've been given a number of things to validate what is coming through. And so I can trust in the information that's coming through. They've been playing a little game with me in the last couple of weeks where they will drop random words and random names into my head. Things that I wouldn't think of. A great example, a couple of weeks ago, I was just sitting watching TV with my husband after dinner one night, and the words dropped into my head, Hewitt Langdon poet. I have no interest in poetry. Well, poetry's fine, but it's never been something I've had a passion for. I don't know anything about poetry. And Hewitt Langdon, no idea who on earth that is. Sitting there in front of the TV with my husband, I pull out the phone and I Google. Hewitt Langdon was actually a poet, and it was the pen name of a man whose name was actually John Langdon, and he was an Irish poet. I think it was the 1800s, and he was responsible for bringing together a consortium is the right word? I'm not sure, but a group of poets. And there was a literary school created, and I'm actually researching him at the moment, wondering if there's something else I need to learn there. But my point is, I've been given things like that so I can go and go, right, what is this? And I can confirm it. Another one that came through, and it didn't make any sense at the time. I was cooking dinner and I heard Marley Piglet, which sounded completely ridiculous to me, and I had no idea what that meant. But again, I Googled it, and only one search result came up, and it was a news article written by a journalist whose last name was Marley. And the first line of this in the results talked about there was some sort of protest at a piggery overseas, and in this protest, some piglets got trampled. So very bad outcome for that. But the first line, it said, Marley was a journalist, piglets trampled in da-da-da. These are things that you can't make up. It's very easy for us to get information and think, no, that's just my mind. That's just my brain being creative. When things like that drop in, we know that's not our brain. We know that's not our mind. We didn't make that up. So if you're getting any of those confirmations as well, you need to take those on board, because they're being given to you as teaching moments, as they are for me, so you can start to have more faith in the information you're getting. So moving forward from the agendas and the light language, the light code, the new templates that are coming that we need to accept and we need to integrate. From now on, we need to stand with strength. And as I say that, I can feel my spine being pulled up with strength. We need to stand in strength. We need to stand with authenticity. We need to stand with integrity. It's the time to really stand in our truth and hold that space. As we hold space, they're showing me more and more people standing up. That sort of situation where you might be in a room and does someone want to volunteer for something and no one does, but eventually someone stands up and then someone else does and then someone else. They're showing me that. So if we can stand in our truth, in our integrity, in our space, others will have the courage to do the same. And that's how we are going to grow our numbers, grow our reach, and, expand the work, which is great. At this time, though, there is a warning. And the warning is around technology. They want to remind us of certain civilizations that were here before that aren't here now. And they were very reliant on technology. They had some very high quality or high tech technology. I'm not sure the right words there, but they're not here now. We are moving into a space, and it's been happening for the last couple of years, but we are ramping up at a rate of knots, the technology. So we need to be mindful of where technology sits in our world and how we use it. And they said, and I quote, use the technology, don't let it lose you. Do not lose your authentic self to the technology. And I think this is speaking a lot towards AI. And what I'm noticing in my world, be it my personal world and my business world, is such a reliance on AI. Now, we can be using it for great benefit. We absolutely can. But the more we start to rely on it, the more we lose ourselves. And I do remember seeing some research a couple of weeks ago that was done that showed that the brain, people that used AI repetitively or consistently, whichever the right word is, their brain function was decreased. And in these scans, you could see less areas of the brain firing in people that were using AI versus people that weren't. So I'm not saying don't use it, but I'm saying use it with discernment and use it in the right spaces. I actually find it really frustrating in this realm. There are so many channels out there at the moment, and I mean, as in channels on this platform, that might have some fantastic information, but they're hiding behind AI generated scripts, AI generated imagery. They're hiding behind it. I think if you have something to say right now, it's the time to come out and stand here on the screen and say, "Hi, this is me. This is what I know," and share what you have to share. Stop hiding behind all of that tech. It's time to come forward. They've also said them take the opportunities that are presented because of these technological change. I've often said to my clients who would say to me in practice that I don't want to take a painkiller because I'd rather go natural. And as much as I'm a naturopath and I would like you to do that as much as possible, I used to say, well, you don't walk in your house and not turn on the lights just because they're a modern invention. If you have a migraine and you need to deal with it, go and deal with it. This is no different. It's about taking the opportunities that this new phase presents, these new advancements in technology present, taking that to grow, change, improve. This is what they said: grow, change, improve, and birth the new you. And I giggled when they said this next bit. They said it is not the time to stay stuck in the mud. A lot of people can fear change. And as humans, we don't like change. Our whole nervous system is wired to stay where we are because any change could be a problem. It could mean that we're going to starve. It could mean that we're going to die. So we are wired to stay where we are because we know here is safe. Might not be the best situation, but we know it. We're surviving it, so we can stay here. But what we don't want to do is be stuck in that spot. We don't want to be so afraid of making changes that we're not trying things, we're not experimenting, and we're not moving forward on our mission, and we're not birthing what we're supposed to from a soul point of view. We're all here right now for a reason. We all signed up to come here, right now. And we all have something to play. We all have a part to play and a piece to add to this story. So we need to make sure that we're doing that. The next page of notes was a reminder again that discernment is key in all areas. So everything that we're doing right now, use discernment. It's the difference between reacting and responding. Okay. When we react, we're reacting from a place that is coming from ego and emotion. Something happens, we react. What we need to do if something's happening that's triggering us is take a moment to think about, what do I think about this? What do I know? What do I believe? How am I feeling? Take a minute, let it process. And when you are understanding of how you feel, then you respond. This means that you're coming from a place of higher knowing. So they want us to start using discernment also into our emotions and into our interactions with other people. So that is a bit of a general overview of some of the things for September. Now, we have a little bit of a galactic update here, and we have a little bit of an angelic update. So in relation to the galactic update, I do channel the Zaran Collective. In this instance, though, I was getting information specifically from Commander Ashtar, and that's who we've brought through here. Now, he is, the first word he said was also discernment. So his energy is coming in right now. He's talking about discernment again. He's saying there's a lot of false flags, and humanity knows that word of false flags because it's being used in a number of places and spaces. We need to use our discernment. We know that there is a lot happening in the skies. Let's just put it that way. Some of it is real. Some of it is not. Some of it is generated. Some of it is government. It's going to be a matter of discernment, of working out what is real and what is not. He is showing me that I'm being shown the earth at a distance, and up above, there's like a fleet of ships. They're ready, watching, waiting. And he wants to be really clear that the Galactics are not coming to save us. That's not their role in this situation. And he's saying we've got enough battles to fight. There's other battles going on in other areas and other galaxies. We're already doing that. We can't come save you too. It's not our job. It's not what they're there for. But he's saying they're there to support. They're there to be that support system. And if anything bad was to happen, they aren't going to let us destroy our planet, with bombs that we might have used in past wars. Let's just put it that way. They're not going to let us go that way again. So there's a reason why, he's saying there's a reason why we show up around military bases and military installations. He said, and that is part of why we're monitoring that. He said, we're not going to let humanity go down that path. Right now is a really good time to start to tap into your galactic brothers and sisters. We all have a galactic heritage. One of the words that I always use with these, I don't use the word alien. Many years ago, they gave me the word outer terrestrial because they said, you are alien as well. We are all alien. And so they wanted me to use the word outer terrestrial, which I have done. So it's a great time to tap into that and why you're here. You can tap into the knowledge, you can tap into the information, the frequencies of that. There are a number of people on the planet right now that have those ties. You can be using meditation, you can be using other practices to try and tap into that. So that would be great. A reminder, he says, we're here not to save, but to support. So he said, don't get the S words mixed up. We're here to support, not to save. And he was showing how it's quite funny, actually, from one point of view, because at the moment you've got a lot of religious people looking to the skies, waiting for the second coming. And you've also got people who are aligned with UAPs and galactics looking to the sky, waiting for the saviors to come in and take us off planet and save us from all the drama here. And there's almost an energy of giggling at that because that's not how it's going to play out. Neither of those two looking at the sky at night is going to get the answer that they're looking for. Because it's about humanity moving forward and moving our planet forward, and not being saved. What you're looking for, you can find if you're using your discernment to uncover the truth. You have to use that. Does it feel right to you intuitively? How does it feel in the gut? There was an incident recently, actually, and I wonder if I've still got the photo here. I'm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, and there was something in the sky. And something I have never seen before. And it made all of the UAP groups, it made the local news and the weather, and it was really different. Right. Here is one of the pictures of it. So this is what we saw in the sky. This was right outside the house. We were leaving home to go out for dinner, so evening sky, and this was above the driveway. And as I'm getting in the car, I've looked up and gone, what's that? So that is one of the pictures of it. This is another picture of it. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, that's another picture of it. I'm trying to get rid of the glare on the phone for you. That there. And that is another picture of what the phenomena looked like. Now, what is that phenomena? We have to use our discernment and we need to try and work that out. The government, the council, the news, whatever you want to talk to here, came out pretty quickly, and they were saying that it was a Chinese rocket that had taken off. So that was taken on my phone about 6:30 at night. There was a Chinese rocket that had launched that day. It was launched 12, 13 hours before that was seen in the sky. But our authorities came out and said, that's what you're actually seeing, the Chinese rocket. Are they right? Are they wrong? I'd love to hear what you think. If you have an idea, please pop it in the comments, because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, okay, the way it looked, it could look like rocket boosters falling off a rocket. Absolutely could. But would it take 12 or 13 hours for that to be visible in the night sky over Australia when it left from China? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not an astrophysicist. But what the reminder is here from Ashtar is discernment. Those things are going to be happening more. Some are going to be real. Some are going to be false flags. Some are going to be complete fake. So we need to be able to use discernment and work out what's what. What we're doing right now is awakening to the new potential. So we have been on an awakening journey for a number of years, but right now we're awakening to the new potential, bringing in that new information, the new codes, the new frequencies. And we need to be able to attract that and accept that and integrate it. One of the things that I'm hearing from when I tapped into the angelic realms was that it is the time to make connection with your soul tribe. We are all put here, or I think most of us are put here with a soul tribe or a soul family who we are to do this work with. It may or may not be the family you're born to. It may or may not be, your spouse, your children, etc. It could be part of that, yes, but it also could be completely different people. I know across my lifetime, I've met and worked with people in my soul family who weren't related, who just happened to cross my path by accident, by surprise. So this is the time, though, they're saying new connections are going to be made, that soul tribes, soul families are going to be coming together in ways that they haven't done before. And if this is you, some of us have had an experience this lifetime of not actually seeing or being exposed to or connected to many members of our soul family. I'm one of those people. I keep a small group of very tight knit friends, and across my lifetime, yes, there's been people I've met who I know are soul family, but to be frank, we've done some work, and then things have, people will transition to different places and spaces, and that's the way it's been. But this information that's coming through is saying that we're going to get new connections with new members or additional members of our soul tribe who we haven't come into contact with yet. So that's great. That there is areas for change, both personal and professional. So you need to be looking at all areas of your life. Right now I'm hearing the word dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. Let me just I always like the Merkabah if I'm trying to connect angelically, particularly I'm trying to connect to like Metatron. I find the Merkabah really good for that. Areas personal and professional. Okay, so they're saying it comes back to embodying all those different parts of ourselves and being able to uncover each of those and pick the ones that need to be part of the journey with us, let go of the things that don't serve us anymore, and move forward from that point of view. So taking the upgrades, and it's time. Yeah, they're saying it is time, it is time, it is time. They just keep repeating that. It is time to step onto your soul path, to step into your soul mission if you haven't done so already. The energies in September are such that it's like riding the waves. They're showing me like a water ride. You're on a water ride, you're on the ring, and you're going down, and it's quite fast, but you're going down because you're being taken by the water, by the tide, or whatever you call that, on the water slides. This is what the energies of September are like. They are all coming in for your greatest good to move you forward to where you need to be. So moving into then that angelic message, we'll just get the Merkabah back. Moving into the angelic message, I do have a few notes here. When I tapped into this earlier today to make some notes for this session, one of the main guides who stepped forward for us right now is Archangel Sandalphon. And he, for me, it has a masculine energy, and it has quite a joyful energy as well. I always smile and giggle a little bit when Sandalphon comes through, because it's got that level of excitement and yes, they're listening and they're moving forward. So what came through was a remembrance that it's okay to call in the angels. That is what they're there for. Angels cannot interact and support us if we don't ask. There are situations where they can step in if it is a dire need. If you are in mortal danger, they can step in. But apart from that, they need to be asked. And you have a contingent of angels that are ready, willing, able to support you. You just have to ask the question. So make sure you are doing that. Sandalphon said specifically, remember to ask them for support, for guidance, and for help. Okay, great practice to get into is, in the morning when you get up, simply, thanking them for the day ahead and asking them to move you in the right ways to have the experiences you're supposed to have today, to move me in the right way, to help the people I'm supposed to help today. That's a really great way to start your day. The message that came through the angelic realm is helping us hold and embody the higher frequencies, that there are higher frequency energies coming through now to upgrade our system. You've probably heard talk online about 12-strand DNA, crystalline DNA. There's a lot in our DNA, and they're saying right now junk DNA, junk DNA. There's no such thing as junk DNA, but there's elements of our DNA that have been turned off, either on purpose or through, lack of use through the way we've been living for these last millennia, however long we've been on this planet. So there is that element of activating some of that we need to reactivate. There are frequencies coming through to heal and adjust that DNA, which is great, and to bring in those frequencies of healing, of health, of our highest timeline. That's where we need to be. Okay, so Sandalphon wants to give a reminder that yes, the angelic realm is there for all of us to tap into, absolutely. Sandalphon specifically as a teacher, a guide, a support. If you are new on your journey or just waking up to some of your gifts, Sandalphon is a great one to be able to support you on that. He's a master teacher. What else is coming through? Soul mission, soul mission. So part of his mission is to activate us, help us activate our soul mission. So this really ties in very well to the energy update we're getting for September, because this is what we're being told to do. We're being told that it's time to get up. It's time to step onto this soul mission. Well, you've put it off for the last decade, 2 decades, for maybe your entire life. And it's time now to step into that, because you have all the support around you energetically that you need to be able to make that happen. What I got earlier was actually to connect and unveil the wisdom and face what is new in your life with courage. And that's what you can activate when you tap into that angelic energy, but in particular, Sandalphon. So Sandalphon in September. Now, the next thing they want us to know is something that they gave me recently called the Healing Merkabah. For those that have followed my journey, you know that I'm about 12, 13 weeks now post major surgery. I had very major surgery, abdominal surgery. I was under general anesthetic for 7.5 hours. It was really quite an extensive op, and I'm still in recovery from it, honestly. Now, in the healing phase of that, so it was more than a couple of weeks ago, but in my healing phase, I was given something called the Healing Merkabah. And this came to me in meditation, and I was literally shown, I was open to healing, and I was like, right, help me heal, and I was just letting it happen. And I was shown this Merkabah. And it was sort of an aqua glowing color, bit sparkly, and the Merkabah was spinning, spinning up above my head. And then it came into my head space and was spinning, and then it moved down. So it was moving down through my body. And for me, healing post-surgery, it spent a lot of time in my abdominal region, and it started to spin so fast that it became to look like an orb. And then the energy, that light, that energetic light, expanded out through my entire being. And as it expanded out, it pushed out the negative frequencies, the lower frequencies, the illness, the hurt. Anything that needed to be healed was pushed out by that bright aqua white light. What they wanted me to share with you today is that Healing Merkabah, and how you can use that in your own meditations and healing activations for yourself that will help to push out some of those low frequency health issues, those low frequency vibrations, and any of those things that are keeping you stuck, so you can start to embody the higher frequencies that are coming through. And the line that they left me with when I was getting this information was, all that is hidden is about to be unveiled. It's interesting because I know the next video they want me to do is called The Truth in the Lies and the Lies in the Truth, because everything is so mixed up on our planet. Everything is intertwined. So the hidden is about to be unveiled. That's really interesting. And this is part of all these systems breaking down as well. Hidden is about to be unveiled. Don't have fear, have excitement, have joy, have gratitude for what's about to happen, because the energy is very positive, pushing us forward into that. Now, I'm going to pull some cards. This is the first set we're going to work with, the Enchanted Map, which is another Colette Baron read. You can tell I have a lot of her cards. They tend to come into my videos quite a bit, don't they? But when we're talking about the world, it's a set that I go to because I associate that with the world map. I've had it sitting here on a crystal grid today, and I've had a beautiful piece of pink agate sitting on top of it. And this, to me, I love this pink agate. This pink agate actually is more meaningful because my boys bought it for me. And pink agate is a very grounding stone. It absolutely is. And it brings in that fresh energy, helps with our emotional and physical healing. But it also helps with, what's the right word? It literally is the bringer of strength. Of strength for what's to come. So I think we are going to have some tumultuous times, and we need to stay in our strength. And so that's why I put the stone on the cards for some clearance before I use them today. One's already fallen out. So we want some cards today, please. And we're asking my guides, my collective, to support us in that. Give us 2 or 3 cards that are going to help us understand that, everything wants to fall out. Understand the journey right now and how we are supposed to move forward. Excellent. And okay, so that card's coming out as a challenge. Okay, what is the last card, please? What is the last card to come out on our energy update for September, please? Woo, there it is. Okay. These make perfect sense. Now, when I read cards, for any of you that have these decks, I'm not a traditionalist when I come to reading cards. I read cards very intuitively. Sometimes I go to the book in the deck, absolutely do. 9 times out of 10, I look at the card and I get the intuitive message of why that card's been given to us. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. The first card that came out is number 48, and it says, wishing well, wishing well. And look at that. She's got the wishing well pot of gold there. It's full of gold, and there is something flying out of it up there. I can't even see well enough what that is, but the wishing well. Now, this is telling us that September is the month energetically of untapped potential and they're saying extreme opportunity, extreme opportunity. If there's anything you ever wanted to do, be, create, have, manifest, this is the time. This is the time to make it happen. So don't waste the energy of this month. Wishing well is here to support you. Field of Dreams was the second card that came out. It's card 21 in that deck. And I love this from the point of view that Field of Dreams speaks to lots of options, lots of opportunities. Your dreams can become real, absolutely. But you've also got the eggs there, which speak to new birth. And for me, that's speaking of the new human, the new earth, the new frequencies. And I also love the fact you've got the fairies sitting on them, because that brings in the elementals. And I think it's really important to understand that what we're dealing with right now on our planet in this ascension process isn't just us, because there are other realms, there are other dimensions associated with this planet, like the Fae realm, okay, and the dragons, all of those realms that are impacted as well. But the reminder of the fairies for me is always about bring the joy. The way to combat any fear, any struggle, is to bring the joy and the gratitude. Flip the coin, bring the joy, bring the gratitude. The other card that came out, card number 3, is Cleaning House. Now, in Colette's deck, that's number 37. Cleaning house. This is a reminder, as much as we can activate right now, we can manifest more easily and make things become real, we need to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. They're saying right now that that could be anything from relationships that don't serve you, to belongings that are cluttering up your life, to health issues that you're holding on to that you probably could let go, frequencies that need to be let go. So being really aware of the things that no longer serve you and just let them fall away, because anything that you're carrying energetically, emotionally, physically is weighing you down from being able to move forward into the path where you're supposed to be. And when I was pulling those out, you might have heard me say that's a challenge card, because as our field of dreams came out and it flew out of the deck, another card flew out and landed across it. So for me, that always speaks to a challenge. And the card that came out is card number 45, and it says, Sad Embrace. I hope you can see that all right. Sad Embrace. That is the challenge card. It speaks to what we were talking about before, how change can be hard for some people. And particularly this human 3D body that we are in, the nervous system of it likes to keep us safe. And to keep us safe, we keep constant, we keep stable, we keep in our comfort zone. These things that are going to be coming up, even something as exciting as having brand new opportunities that we can make real for ourselves, is still scary for some people. In my work, I find it really interesting how there seems to be just as many people who are afraid of failure as there are who are afraid of success. So the sad embrace is about embracing the fact that we might have feelings about change that might not be the most positive, and that is okay. These things need to be worked through. That's how we move forward. So if you are feeling any of that, take it, journal it, understand it, and then find ways to release it. So that's from the desire map. The other part that I had here today, and the other deck, sorry, that I have here today, and this was one that Ashtar was pointing me to get out for today, and it's the Divine Masters. This is Kyle Gray's deck. Amazing imagery on the front of that deck, isn't it? I've had that sitting here today on my crystal grid, and I'd actually had a beautiful piece of moonstone sitting on top of it, okay, for obvious reasons, moonstone. And let's have a look. They're saying that there's help, support, ascended masters who are there to help us, who we sometimes forget to call on. So they want to give us a reminder of who some of these people are. That's what this deck is all about. This deck, if you don't have it, is full of different cards pointing to different ascended masters. It's a really interesting deck. There's some beautiful imagery as well. Okay, so that's one. Is there anything else to come out? So we've got two. I nearly dropped the whole deck. Let's try that again. Okay, so we've got three cards here, and you'll giggle too when you see what came out. Okay, so the first one that came out is, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, Hanuman, or Hanuman. I'm not sure how you would say that. And it says devoted warrior, and it literally says, let God's love hold you in strength. And I find it really interesting that the depiction of this person, this being, this master, is essentially a lion. And we are at the 2nd of September. We've just gone through Lionsgate. We've got that energy coming through. So, devoted warrior, this speaks to me of us needing to stand in our strength and stand in our power for what's coming, and calling in people like that. The other person that's coming to mind is Kalimar as well, who can help us stand in our strength and be a warrior for the new times. The second card that came out was the card of Ishtar, and this speaks exactly to everything we've spoken of today. Inner learnings, and the bottom of the card says, follow your heart, trust prevails. Does that not sum up everything we talked about today? Follow your heart, trust prevails. Being on your soul's mission, trusting in the process, and taking steps through uncharted territory to get to where you're supposed to be. We all have a mission. We're all here for a mission. We're all here to embody something, to be part of the legacy, part of the change. So moving forward. The third card that came out, and then I giggled because this is the crux of everything and where we started today, is Gaia. Gaia. Resilient spirit. So that's a great reminder of the fact that the planet endures. The being that is Gaia endures. She has been here long before we were here. She will be here long after we are all gone. She brings that resilient spirit, and we can tap into that. By something as simple as grounding, we can tap into that. It says, Earth connection, stay rooted in trust and faith. So I think, again, that's a really great way to wrap up this session today in this video, that sums up everything we've talked about. Stay rooted in trust and faith. Because we're on the right path, and we're going through really exciting, unprecedented times where we can become, the next level of who we're supposed to be. So let's wrap up this video here for our September update, remembering to stand in our purpose, stand in our authenticity, let the energy of September wash over you and take you where you're supposed to be. This is the month where you can make manifest those things that you really want to have. You can bring forth anything that's been difficult or been a challenge. Bring that forth and let it come to fruition this month. It's also the time for you to let go of anything that's holding you back, anything that is not serving your highest good, and bring forth into your life those things that do. Those things that you wished you always have done and you wish you had time for. Bring all that in. Every aspect of yourself, your soul, and who you really are. Bring that together so you can be your biggest authentic self on your highest timeline and move forward into September with positivity and purpose. That's the main thing we need to take forward. Friends, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the energy update for September, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.